So I just got off of a podcast with the Red Pill rapper, the man himself, Mr. Mitch Murphy, who makes his own music, has a podcast show, and is an activist, gets out there in the streets and makes things happen. And he had a lot of interesting questions asking a hypnotist, what is happening to our friends and family? How does this stuff work? And a lot of great questions and a lot of great points. And what's interesting is, when I go on a show like this, I end up talking about different information that's not in my other videos because I have someone asking specific questions instead of me, and what I think I should talk about. It's really valuable when someone is actually interested and tuned in and a smart guy and aware. So we go on to subjects that expand more into the content that you've seen so far. So I highly encourage that you watch this show and watch it to the end. If you are further interested in understanding what is happening in this mass hypnosis world, and also, most importantly, how all of us can transcend this whole matrix paradigm thing and actually be okay, right? At the end of the day, what can we do to save ourselves and our families and our communities? Key points are in this interview. Stay tuned till the end when I share the most potent keys and concepts.
Let the enemy get too friendly. Now we quarantine like Julian inside the embassy. Viruses filled in my environment. Communism coming, I ain't talking.
Hello everyone, it's me, Mitch Murphy, the Red Pill rapper on redpillnation.ca. Thank you for coming in, you guys. Oh my gosh, this show is almost too hot to handle. That's why I'm starting to put it on redpillnation.ca. Not only can you get the Red Pill rapper show there, you can also get the freaking hottest merch known to mankind. Man, you can buy my music, you can buy whatever you want. I'm trying to keep away from the beast system, man. I don't want to put it on Spotify. I might in the future, but I'm trying to do it myself. You know what I mean? Through redpillnation.ca. So if you love freedom and you don't love your mask, then just come to Red Pill Nation and buy the merch and support your boy. You know what I mean? I don't sell custom masks because I'm not a shill, okay? But I am taking applications. Okay, good. The sound works. I am taking applications to sell out for Big Coffee. I like to sell coffee. Check out the Resistance Coffee company. I would also be willing to sell out to, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, I got but yeah, that's my sponsor for today. Is redpillnation.ca. Check it out. I've got a very special guest with us today, man. I've got a very special guest. Oh, we got Stefan in the chat. What's up, Stefan? Stefan from the USA. Very special guest today. His name is... Who are we up against here? Hello. Tell the people who you are, my man.
Hey, what's up? My name is Michael Grady, professional hypnotist and musician. And, dude, we're dealing with a mass hypnosis zombified world, so we should understand it better, right?
Well, who better to help us understand it, my man? I mean, so before we dig into the nitty gritty of it, what I'm hoping to get from you is how did you get into hypnosis? Because I've only met a couple hypnotists in my whole life, and I've always wondered, like, how do you start down that road? What happened?
Usually we have some kind of crazy emotional issue, and we're trying to find a solution. I was my dad was really abusive. God bless him, he's a great guy, but he was just brought up in a way that thought that that's the way to handle things, right? And I had a really bad problem with my emotions. I was severely shy, and as a musician, I'd stand up on stage and I literally wouldn't even move at all, right? It was bad. I was traumatized. And so I found a book on self-hypnosis and I used it and I healed from it. And I literally, when I was 19, I was able to go back up to my dad and go, "Hey Dad, it's all good. I forgive you. Everything's cool." And I was able to have a relationship with him again, Wow. And then so friends heard I was tinkering with this stuff, and I had a party. My mom was gone out of the house, on some kind of business trip. And so I had a bunch of friends, and two of them were like, "Hey, can you hypnotize us so we can see what it's like?" I was like, "Sure. I mean, I guess I can just talk to you guys like I talk to myself. I don't know. I'll bring the book with me just in case, And so I do the whole process, do like a self-esteem thing, you feel good about yourself, all that stuff. And okay, get down to the end of the script in the book. And I'm like, okay, we're done. And they both start to open their eyes, they look around, And one guy, he's like, I can't move.
Whoa.
I'm like, really? And then the girl who was laying on my bed, she's like, yeah, I can't move either. I'm like, oh no, what do I do? You know? and so after that experience, I was just like, wow, like there's something to this stuff. And so I just kept on learning about it. When I was 26, I became a professional in it. I took a course and I studied under a guy who did shows, and I did my own show, and it blew everybody away. And so I just kept doing it. And it's just so wild. Have you ever seen a show like that before?
I have. I'm wondering those
Okay.
those first two. Can they walk today? Are they all right?
Oh yeah, they're perfectly good. No, I ended up figuring out, like, okay, you know, feel your fingertips, feel your toes, start to move around. You know, okay, feel your body, feel the air in the room. You know, bring them back incrementally, and they were fine after that. You know, and they felt great. But it was just like crazy to like, how come they can't move? I just talked them, you know, into a relaxed state, and it's just like, wow, you know.
Yeah. So I had seen some hypnosis shows, like once on a cruise ship as a kid, and then just a few throughout my life. But I always assumed that it was just like the the most low vibrational people that were susceptible to that kind of thing that would allow themselves to do it. But then in high school, my best friend, who's smarter than me, he's smarter than me, and he's a very cognitive guy. He got hypnotized severely, and he was doing crazy stuff on stage. And so I ever since then I've been convinced that there's something to this. So I'm hoping you can kind of elaborate on it. But you like, do you have a code of ethics? Are you not allowed to talk about certain things, or how does that work?
Like a magician code of ethics, right?
Right.
The only code of ethics I did was with myself when I hypnotized my friends. Actually, like after I graduated the course, you know, and had them do crazy stuff. I was like, oh my God, like this is like serious power, and I have to make sure I don't do anything that anyone wouldn't want to do, you know? But no, I am ready to expose all of it. And, you know, hypnotists don't really want to share all their secrets because, you know, as a stage hypnotist, if I share all my secrets and then students or participants see my stuff, it's going to be harder for me to do my job, you know, because there's a little bit of trickery involved. But I know right now we need to know all the secrets. I'm not sure how much of the videos you saw, but I try to break down as much as possible, like with all the sneaky methods that like the school system is using, where they hired an infomercial billionaire giant to help protect the kids to be safe with this highly manipulative video, right?
Yeah, man. So that's the video that my friend Kyle Cardinal sent me of yours, and I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked because I like to pick apart. I like to do similar things to what you did with that video. I like to pick apart very mainstream propaganda pieces, particularly when they
did the combination with the Matrix footage and stuff. So good, dude.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. And I've done it a few times where events that I've been at and stuff like that. But to have your expert knowledge about, like, because when you were saying how the her lips are in the shape of a heart and they're colored red, the mother, and she's associated with the love emotion and these things, like that kind of stuff runs so deep. That runs so deep, and it's really mind blowing. But my question for you, Michael Grady. Do people call you Mike? Do people call you Mike for short?
Either one. Yeah.
All right, man. So my question for you, Mike, is how important is it for you to get a read on a person for you to get in their head, for you to manipulate them is the word I would use. I hope that's not offensive, but do you use different tactics for different people, or how does that work?
Absolutely. Like so first off, if I'm up on stage, I'm about to, you know, I'm in front of 100, 200, you know, however many people. It's my job to find the people that are going to be the most susceptible, because if I just take everybody, it's only going to be like 20% who actually are ready to do it, who don't have like a lot of inhibitions, who are just ready to just like have fun and just follow along without doing much critical thinking. That's really what it comes down to. Either someone who doesn't have much critical thinking, or they're just ready to follow directions, right?
Sure.
So if you just put on your mask and then you just put on another mask, right? And you keep following the procedure, that's the person's depth of trance is going deeper the more that they follow directions, right?
Right.
So I'll actually do things like I'll itch my head on stage, and I'll notice there'll be 10 other people that will do the same thing, right? In NLP, we call this mirroring, right?
Okay.
And we do this when you're hanging out with a friend. You'll notice that you guys like itch your nose at the same time or whatever, right? That means you guys have good rapport. And I can only hypnotize someone if I have good rapport with them, or if they don't know that it's happening, right?
Right.
And so we do some suggestibility exercises to see who's actually following along and stuff like that. So, if you're following along to the news and you're just following what they say, it's just leading themselves off a cliff.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And it's it's never been more obvious, and something that because I've lost a lot of friends over this last year, as I'm sure most of us have. And and I think that
we're creating new friends.
Absolutely, right? Man. Absolutely. But I think that a lot of people take offense to what you're saying and what I'm saying, is because to imply that someone is just following the herd is hurtful. It hurts someone because people want to think of themselves as an individual, not a collective. But True. There's something about the human experience, the human nature that makes us want to do as we're told, isn't there? Like, would you agree with that? Do you find that some part of everybody wants to do as they're told?
Yeah, I mean, there's the social acceptance. It's the biggest thing to get over, right? Acceptance of your family, acceptance of your close friends. I mean, even me today, probably maybe you as well, who have separated from the mainstream and my group of friends after moving out, to different areas and stuff. I still have their judgment always in the back of my mind. And I almost want to prove to them sometimes, Mm-hmm. And I think that's just I know it's a very deep rooted part of us, right? We want to make our parents proud. We want to make our family happy, right?
Right.
And so when you're criticized heavily by everyone around you, it's a really hard thing to go through and to mm-hmm. overcome. But that's just part of the challenge we were going through right now.
Yeah, I sure think so. I think so.
Yeah.
And so the reason I ask about the different tactics for the different type of person is what I'm hoping to figure out is how did they get everybody? How did they get, because they got the tattooed gym guys, and then they got the wine moms, and they got the nurses. The
smart guys.
Yeah, they got the people that are a lot smarter than me. Like I said earlier, how did they do this? How did this happen?
Well, I mean, as a hypnotist, I can say that there's different types of inductions for different types of people, right? Some people will go into trance by simply doing a progressive relaxation, right? Relax your neck, relax your shoulders, blah, 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 bore yourself asleep, right? Some people need to stay active while they're having suggestions put into them, right? Like I'll have them move their hands, fast while I'm talking to them at the same time, right? Mm-hmm. I had a hypnotist teacher who had me write down a story at the same time he had me hypnotize, speaking out loud, talking about something different, and I'm doing two completely different things at the same time.
Whoa.
In trance. So the media has had a year and a half, a year and 3/4 of all this time to convince us in so many different ways. And the way that they do it, and I said it in the video, I'm going to share it again for our listeners so we can really understand what we're dealing with, right? So our mind, right? Anytime the news or someone makes you feel an emotion, makes you scared, and you start to feel an emotion, any emotion you feel is an unconscious reaction. Okay? Mm-hmm. So if I can get you scared and then get you to act on that fear, you are then accepting all of the suggestions into your mind of their very persuasive stories, right? And so how do you know if you're hypnotized or not? Did you use your critical factor at all? Right? Conscious mind, critical factor, subconscious mind. The critical factor is the gateway to the subconscious mind. Did you think about what you heard? And can you explain to me with an example in the real world of what actually happened? Or do you just have an emotional response when someone describes it? It's just like these abstract run-on sentences that don't even make sense. Right? So how did they get so many people to get into this? They manipulated our emotions, the gateway to the subconscious. And as they manipulated our emotions little by little, and also repetition, major hypnotic concept. I mean, it's not like we ever got a COVID notification at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hundreds of thousands, right? They're everywhere. Another key hypnotic concept is environmental hypnosis, right? They're putting the signs on every single place. We're getting emails from the government, from different stores, from our managers. It's just taking over our experience on every single angle where people just can't, I don't know, I guess they just can't get out of it because that's all they're seeing everywhere. So, man, they got a good percentage of the people so far.
Yeah, and that repetition to me is what I found to be the most disturbing part of the whole thing, because we're starting to see some sick people now, a little bit in Canada anyway, but I would argue that that's going alongside a lot of experimental therapies that people are participating in. But
I didn't get sick because of this thing.
Right.
There's no possibility there.
Of course. But up until now, it's like, without the repetition, without the dots on the floor, the mask on the face, the radio playing, without all these things, there would be no emergency. It didn't exist. It only existed in the constant messaging all the time.
Exactly.
And I don't get how people can't see that's weird. That's weird, because even if it was an emergency, why would they need this multi-billion-dollar marketing campaign? I don't understand, because that's right. They're literally using the same tactics as Coca-Cola and Gucci.
They're literally hiring those people, right? Just like the LA school system hired an infomercial billionaire giant.
Yeah, it's insane. And good job.
You probably don't really watch the TV much, though, right?
No, you know what? You know what I do watch is I watch YouTube streamers that cover the mainstream. I do watch that just to see what's going on.
So you're a little bit more disconnected, because I think the normal person, they just throw the TV on. And I don't really watch TV at all, but I had to help my friend an older friend who couldn't figure out his TV and all that stuff. He's like, hey, can you help me out? Sure. I go down there, help him out. And I'm like, how is there so many convid commercials repeated so often? It's like, this is traumatizing. I have an older friend who, she's stuck in her house. She didn't go anywhere. Literally, she feels like the TV's her friend, because that's all. Man. The segregation part is the big thing, right? Stay at home, stay at home, stay at home. What do people do when they sit at home? I'm going to throw the TV on and let it play in the background. Right?
It's so sick. It's so sick.
Yeah.
But, we're just watching it go down one commercial at a time, aren't we? We're just watching it happen.
I know, dude. I know. I think a lot of people watching this, I think we're all really well aware of it. And I want to make sure I don't say too many things that are preaching to the choir, because I think a lot of people are very aware of this. So it makes me think, what are we going to do? What can we do? Because, even though we know that these people are so deeply in it, I still hold the hope that maybe I can help get a couple people to understand, but I don't know if that's my best, energy and effort. But my main focus right now is the kids, because the kids,
right.
Oh my God, it's crazy.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And it's, there's a lot of different people that have the answers. I
Right,
personally, I get involved with politics, especially locally, because I think it matters and it's good to
yeah,
know
dude,
who's
you hop
running
on
and
the
stuff.
back of the truck and freaking lead the crowd and sing your songs. That is so freaking cool, dude.
Yeah, but I do think that it's at the end of the day, it's just like unified non-compliance and community building. I think that's
It
all
is, yeah.
we can do. But guys
It's
like you were,
powerful. It's powerful because there's a lot of people who agree with us that are sitting at home and not knowing anybody else to group up with. And
Yeah.
that's the other part of the segregation, right? I mean, like in my shows, when I had, a group of kids that were just like really excited and hard to control, I would literally separate the chairs so they wouldn't disturb each other, right? A very powerful hypnotic concept. And they're literally doing that to us. Stay at home, right? It's easier to persuade everybody like that.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean, the further apart we are, the easier it is. But
yeah, just like a cult, right? They remove you. They bring you out in the woods. They take your phone away, and they can control the messages that go into your brain, and then you end up doing some weird, crazy shit.
Absolutely, man. Well, and anything can become normal. Anything can become normal.
Yeah, seriously.
But I wanted to ask you, and again, I'm like nervous to ask because I don't want to ask you to do anything
Dude,
that
ask it
you're
away.
not
This is
comfortable
the
with.
time
But
where we need to expose whatever we can.
okay, I was wondering if you could lead me through step by step how the hypnotic process works in the context of if you wanted somebody to do something for you, like if you wanted somebody to walk to an ATM and withdraw their life savings and hand it to you.
Yeah.
How would you do it?
Very
What
possible.
would be? Okay, can you walk me through it? How would that happen?
If I were to do it, I wouldn't do like a closed eye relaxation, typical like eyes getting sleepy kind of thing, right? If I were to do it personally, I would talk to someone, get to know them, build some rapport, and hey, you want to try an imagination experiment? It's really fun. Go ahead and put your arms out straight in front of you and imagine there's two magnets in front of your hands. And as you have your eyes closed and picture and feel the magnets in your hands, go ahead and notice how your arms slowly start to come together, right?
Okay.
I would do these waking hypnosis exercises, getting them to follow directions, stimulate their imagination and the feelings involved, right? In small, incremental, believable steps, right? I can't just go up to someone and hey, go get your money out of the ATM, right?
Right.
And there's advanced ways to do this quick and fast. See, I learned from a guy who was hired by the government to hypnotize murderers against their will to get information out of them for the court cases, right?
Whoa.
And so this is the kind of stuff he would do. We do little incremental imagination exercises. And so I'm not sure how much time we have and how much to explain here.
Oh,
so
let it out, man.
I would do these waking exercises, right? That seem like imagination stuff. It's like, oh yeah, it's a cool mind experiment.
Mm-hmm.
But really what it's doing is it's getting access to the subconscious mind. And in about 10 minutes of doing a few exercises like this, compounding those experiences, they will literally get into the somnambulistic state. Their memory will be gone, and you can literally have them believe and do anything.
Okay, so am I understanding right that just as one example of an imagination exercise, you're saying imagine a magnet between your hands and feel the magnet pull your hands closer together. Is it the fact that you are guiding them through this, that they are going to see you as a figure of authority? Is that kind of what it is? Or breaking down their barriers and seeing you as the boss? Or how does it work?
This is great questions, man. Yes. The most important thing, if we rewind to what I was saying, and it's hard, and it's easy to overlook these little specifics, but they're really, really key, major, basic things that cannot be ignored. I first develop rapport with the person, right? There's techniques to do this with little nods and little waves and talking like them and making it seem like, you are like them and all this stuff. Once you have rapport and you have a connection and they start to follow your directives, it's kind of in the bag.
Wow.
right? It's like someone who turns on the news, which is like the authority of information, and they just believe it without critically thinking about it, right?
Right.
If a person in authority says a bit of information and you think that's the right information, critical factor opens up, it's deposited in. So it is the power of their imagination, right? It is the power of them following along. But it's their susceptibility of believing someone is an authority or believing someone has a legit reason for them to follow.
Right. Wow. So, yeah. So it's like you're supplying the magnet in a sense. When they're feeling their hands come together, they're like, the magic man has come here and he has given me this magnet and it's pulling my hands together. And
right.
So,
and I will do things to convince them to use their imagination. Because if I really want to help someone, I'd never really do. The only worst thing I ever did to someone is I made a guy eat dog food thinking it was candy.
Whoa.
And his girlfriend, we did it in front of his girlfriend. I hypnotized them both separately so they could see each other hypnotized. And his girlfriend was like, making me the dog food. And I was like, I haven't done this one yet. Okay, let's try it. And he thought it was candy. He ate all 3 pieces.
Wow.
And like an hour later, after I was hypnotized his girlfriend, he had like this nasty burp. He was like, why does my mouth taste like dog food? I'm like, oh no, what did I do? What was the question? I got lost in that story there.
well, I think that is insane. I can't even believe that. I guess
it's the real thing, I mean, it's crazy.
So I guess the overarching question behind what I'm asking as well is, how much of what we see in normal society is actually hypnotic tactics? Because when I get on an airplane, I take my shoes off. And I don't believe that makes anybody any safer. Just like I don't believe the mask makes anybody safer, or in the Cold War telling kids to hide under their desk. Is this all just compliance training? Is it just the government supplying the magnet that pulls the hands together, or what are these things?
Great question again, dude. You got a guy standing there with a gun, right? A person in authority is saying, take your freaking shoes off now. Right? So you're going to comply. Right? And it's kind of like when you're in school, and I talked about this example, you run down the hallway and the teacher's like, stop! Right? Because you're going to listen to them, because if you don't, you're going to get detention or suspension or go to the principal's office. So you're being threatened. But guess what? You stop running in the hallways because you get conditioned. It's like training a dog. Right? And we're very similar to that.
I sure think so, man. I think we're a lot more, especially if you, I gotta be careful, but especially if you live like an animal. And I say that as a person where I used to live like an animal. I used to drink all the time and I just did whatever impulse I felt like I should do. And I think that I was a lot more susceptible to these things back then, because all that I was worried about was stimulating myself with a woman or a bottle or a movie or whatever. And I think that the more you act like an animal, the more trainable you are. And
that's a really good observation. I never thought about that.
Well,
yeah, I mean, it's like the guys that are more interested in watching the football games than actually reading a book and learning a skill to develop themselves. How much critical thinking do those kind of people have? Not really that much, and then how easily are they manipulated? Pretty easily.
And you find that, hey, like the guy with the Dallas Cowboys jersey on is easier to hypnotize than...
I mean, generally speaking, I don't want to talk bad about people who like to play sports and, are into it. I mean, sure. Watching a football game once a week is definitely not going to put you in a complete state of hypnosis, although, you do become influenced, because especially when you have a sports fan, or I'm sorry, when you have a sports professional you look up to, And then that sports professional is on an advertisement. And then you become susceptible to their idea because you look up to them. You like them, right? Oh, I'm going to get that brand of beer now because they're suggesting it to me, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
It's very interesting, man. Very interesting. Because yeah, that was something Kyle was asking me that I wanted to relay to you is, do you think that if you were to come to, say, a freedom rally or just a group of people who see through the narrative and who are awake to a lot of these things, would you be able to hypnotize us, do you think?
Oh, for sure.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I would probably have a little bit less percentage of success, dealing with people or working with people who have more of a critical factor and are thinking critically. But the biggest challenge and the biggest skill I would need to use is I need you to like me, right?
Wow.
I need you to think that I am an authority, right? I have to get you to believe that I am someone to listen to. And because I am a genuine person and I know I'm not going to do anything bad to people, I can live that, right? And so people that have great imagination and they're not afraid to, get up on stage and do whatever, people will definitely be able to be hypnotized. It's not that, here's the key, we're all susceptible to this state of mind. We go in and out all the time, right? You ever drive down the road from work, this routine drive that you've done, hundreds of times or whatever. And sometimes you get to the house and you're like, geez, I don't even remember driving that much, right? Probably because you're just in your head, you're in your imagination, you're in a different state of mind. And so we're all susceptible to it. But the more we can use the critical factor and critically think, will lower those chances. Because if I have someone who comes up on stage and I say something like, okay, so take a nice deep breath in. And internally, they're like, well, I don't know if I'm taking the right deep breath in. I don't know if this guy is talking the right thing. I don't know if should it be a little deep breath, right? Someone's like analytically thinking through the whole process. I can't along, right? So critically thinking is the best defense.
Really? Okay. That's because that was my next question is, can you hypnotize somebody who's trying not to be hypnotized? Can you do it against their will?
It is possible. Like I said, I was trained by a really...
Like if someone's aware that you are trying to hypnotize them and they think, I better not get hypnotized, can you still do it? Can you still get them to eat dog food?
That's very difficult,
right?
But it is possible. It would just take more time and more. It's kind of like a magician that's trying to misdirect you, right? Right. Except I have to do it psychologically, where if you have to maybe use like reverse psychology, and get them, telling them to do something, and I know they're not going to do it, but then because they didn't do it, they're actually falling into my trap, right? So it's possible, but it's very difficult, right?
Wow, man. That's a fascinating. I'm going to be stewing on that for a long time, what you just said, because me and my friends within the Freedom Rally people, we're all conspiracy minded, which is like a naughty word in 2021, right? but we are. And we're also,
you question things.
Right.
I mean, what's the big deal? I mean, why can't we just question a couple of things? Even if we don't know if it's like 100% legit, like why can't we just ask the question?
Right. And it's been so demonized. But I think the other side of it is that we also have some historical knowledge, because Lenin said that the best way to quash your opposition is to lead your opposition, meaning you should have controlled operations throughout when you're trying to put forward an agenda. Like, for example, maybe the UN 2030 agenda. I'm not here to make any claims. I'm just saying maybe they would do that
in plain sight, but yeah.
Yeah, and so maybe they are using some sort of these tactics on us as well. You know what I mean? And maybe they want us to be doing certain things that so you know what I'm saying? And so I'm curious.
I believe the Q thing might be along those lines.
I sure think so. I couldn't agree more.
It's kind of like how they teach information in school. They give you some truths, They give you some information, but they also feed you half-truths and wrong information at the same time. For sure.
Yeah, man, I had my mind blown because I learned about something called Operation Trust, and this is where some of my fans get so mad at me when I talk about this. So Operation Trust was in Soviet Russia, and basically what they did is they put out pamphlets and flyers to the people, and especially among resistance type people. And they said, you're going to see some things like government overreach and military presence and these things. But it's all because that we're going to stage a military coup and to take over the country to liberate the people of the Soviet Union. And that was what they were telling these people. And Matt, it's literally called Operation Trust. All these people were all excited to see all these QAnon people were so excited to see martial law because they trusted the plan. To me, it's like the exact same thing, man. But I don't know.
That's a good observation, and I think that's a good fact to talk about because I think a lot of us have been misled on both sides, right? For sure.
I appreciate guys like you, though, man. Just above the fray, getting the knowledge out there. Thank you for what you have done and are doing.
I've been trying to share this information with people for a long time, but I noticed that no one really cared, right? Unless someone has some crazy emotional issue that's destroying their life, they'll come out and they'll reach out to me and search my information. Otherwise, maybe they want to see their friends and family do some crazy stuff on stage. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, no one really cared. But now that it's very obvious that everyone's zombified, as I've been trying to tell everybody, but it was hard to see before. And now it's become relevant. So now I'm going hard on exposing this information.
Well, you're doing a great job, man. I linked your YouTube in the description of this video. I hope everybody goes and checks it out because I started watching just last night, and I'm so glad to have you on, and I'm gonna watch a lot more because it's that, especially like for you to pick apart the propaganda first at the LA school board and then show who's doing it. It's this guy who's this like billionaire lawyer dude. What a mess, man. I can't believe people are still falling for it.
The LA school superintendent is literally an ex-banker of a $600 billionaire company. Used to work for he was the CEO of the LA Times, and he was fired because he was siphoning money to Obama's aide because he wanted to run for governor, but I guess he didn't win. And now he's the school superintendent of which has a budget of $13 billion. Right.
Wow.
Yeah, and then a whole team of his coronavirus people, they're all just these billionaire business people. And it's great because as we're watching the video of like, we're helping people be safe and we're helping the schools get open. And I'm literally picking apart their body language. And they're like, look at this guy's lying. He has a fake smile. Look at the eye patterns on this lady. Right. So I think it's a good perspective. And man, if we all knew like these NLP eye accessing concepts and all, and all these things that enable these people to convince society, it won't work anymore.
You're absolutely right. Just what did you say? It's like you're deconstructing the matrix, right? You're deconstructing the matrix one bit at a time, right?
I'm showing the magic trick, right? Just like I show the magic trick of, making the handkerchief disappear and then showing you it's just a plastic thumb that I'm sticking inside my hand. Before it's like, wow, how did it disappear? Oh, it's just a plastic thumb. Right?
Yeah. That's it, man. That's it. Well, listen, brother, is there anything you want to promote before I let you go? Anything you want to plug? Or
I don't have anything to promote, but I do want to convey a message, right?
All right, let's hear it.
The Matrix example is like the best example, right? Just like Keanu Reeves said, The Matrix was a documentary.
Right.
We have so much mental power that none of us really realize. Our brain transmits a frequency, just like the vibration plate with the sand. You've seen those videos before, right? It's like, and then it turns into like this crazy snowflake design. It turns into a different snowflake design, right?
Yeah.
And so our brain and our heart transmit a frequency. Okay? All of reality is just small quantum particles like those little bits of sand. So I know this is really hard times on us and it's extremely stressful. But the key is myself, I tell myself, and I believe I've done pretty good with mastering this art, is you have to control your emotions because that is literally what is physicalizing the particles in our experience. And if we can hold on to love, emotional security, feeling good about ourselves, right? Like you're creating music, you got a platform, you're out in the world, like you're creating, you're doing something, you're making it, right? And when you're in the moment of creating, you're putting out this frequency of your vision. And it's so freaking powerful, dude, right? We all need, this is why I really wanted to come on this podcast, because you're a dude who's doing it, man. And you're a good example, right? So we need to be focused on our work and creating the life that we want. So we put out the frequency that physical, that puts the quantum particles in place to have the synchronicities, right, of all the things that we want. And just like the vibration plate moving the sand in a specific location, the sand is not going to go in one of those open areas, right, in between like the crystallized vibration structure. So in the same way, they can't get us, right? Just like the Matrix and Neo realizes his power, right? I mean, it's a kind of ridiculous to think we're gonna like stop bullets and stuff, but it literally is that, because you'll have some weird experience, weird situation that removes you from a place in danger, right? So that's the big message. We need to make sure we stay emotionally secure and find the opportunities in the big problems that we all have.
Oh man, I couldn't agree more. And I think that was so well put, especially when you said the nice thing about me.
But I mean, everybody subscribe to his channel.
That's
and
right.
Keep watching this stuff, because this is a dude who's doing it, man. You get inspired by people like this.
Thanks, brother. Thanks. I appreciate it. But I do think I think that message is so important, because especially because I know a lot of people, and a lot of people are starting to talk about, because the government is escalating. Things are escalating.
Right. Yeah.
We're watching Australia. We're seeing all these things are going
It's
on.
intense.
And so a lot of people are starting to talk about how our side should escalate and our side should do this and do that. And we need to hit back harder and do these things. But what I think a lot of people don't realize is that World War III is here, and it's a psychological war. And so the way we fight back, it's like, I believe very firmly that we've been conditioned to believe that war looks like nail bombs, Molotov cocktails, and assault rifles, and all these things. When
they're planning nuclear missiles,
right? When really we're in the war right now, and it's all psychological. And
hardcore.
So,
oh yeah,
I think you're right that we need to take care of our psychology and treat it with the respect and the reverence that it deserves, and take care of ourselves and try to show love as much as we can. Because but it's hard, man. It's hard, because it's like you say, with
it's the hardest thing ever.
Because with the people that are doing things, the new artists that are coming out and that kind of stuff, like, I think a lot of people, they look at what I'm doing, and I would imagine you can probably relate to this as well, is that they look at what I'm doing and they think, I don't like that because I don't know what it is. Because I think we've been given these boxes. It's like, you can do a sitcom, you can do a music, you can do a podcast, you can do all these different things. But then they see these guys coming up, and we're just Wild West, man. We do whatever we want. And I think it makes people uncomfortable, because it's serious and funny. It's like deadly serious, but you can also laugh, because I found myself laughing during some of your stuff, and also becoming smarter as I watched it, which I keep finding that with people that are above the right wing, left wing paradigm, that are above the
Yeah.
You know, like the sheep versus conspiracy. It's just these people that have risen to a higher vibration. That's where we all need to get to, I think.
Yeah,
And
I feel like it's not a battle of this side or that side, right? It's really just, I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's just expanding who we are from the inside, you know? And the battle is really overcoming ourselves. You know, a lot of us get emotionally triggered, right? Whose emotion is it?
wow.
Right? It's us, right? And so, I mean, I have content that helps people get through emotions because it's a very hard thing to do. You know, I think we should talk about it because emotions, right? What is an emotion, right? I don't think many people hardly even understand what an emotion really is. People think we just think with the brain, right? Which, yeah, a lot of thinking activity happens there, but it actually happens through the entire body, through the energy meridian system. Okay. Which the energy meridian system is also kind of an extension of the spirit going through the body, which is why when you have a blockage in those areas, it feels bad because you're not feeling your spirit in your body as much. And so actually the fastest way to blow out an emotion is by doing like tapping techniques in specific orders where it never comes back again. Dude, like 12 years ago, I had a really bad breakup. I did these techniques and I've never felt bad with a breakup ever since. I mean, sure, I have, little discomfort, little frustration and stuff, but I never stay in it anymore, right? Same thing with grief. One of my brothers passed away. Sure, it was hard. We were emotional, but I didn't stay in this grieving state for years, like a lot of people do, right? And so if we cannot get through these blockages of emotion, energy perturbations, then we can't manifest and create the life that we want. It's really, that is the real battle, is how much can we control ourselves and have emotional freedom to then just be our great loving selves. And then our lives literally construct like a snowflake does. Right? Nature doesn't construct every little bit of the snowflake. There's just a natural vibration. And the water droplet crystallizes to that vibration. And it's beautiful. Right? So if we can just allow ourselves to be our natural self, we will manifest a ridiculously amazing synchronistic life that's like insane.
Mm-hmm. It's true, man. It's true. And what we don't want is a world that is manifested where everybody has the same opinions and everybody wears the same things and everybody thinks the same way. We need, it's so funny because it's the people that claim diversity that are trying to make everybody the same and do the same things and think the same things, where I want crazy people to be comfortable, to be crazy. I love maniac people because I'm one of them. I think that everybody should just break away. It's something we talked about at the very beginning is, what are my parents going to think? What are my friends going to think that I haven't even talked to?
It's a fear-induced state.
Right. Why can't we all just let go of the whole thing and just stop beating each other up so bad, you know what I mean? And just live and let live. You know what I mean?
Exactly, dude.
Well, listen, man, I sure appreciate you coming on. I think you hold the key. I think you hold a very important key to this whole
I got a thing of keys here, man, and I'm just trying to share it, the best I can.
Okay, I've got one last question for you, and then I'm going to let you go.
Okay, cool.
What do you think comes next? Do you think that they continue until we have UN troops on the soil of every nation of this earth, or is it a fake alien attack? What is coming next, man? What is it?
Well, every future moment is a probable reality. right? Just like we can shift our emotions and make a prayer and have it affect reality, it will be based off of that. We know these people, these elitists or whatever, that's what they want. They're going to go for it. I mean, we see it happening in other places of the world. They're going to go for it. And it's going to happen in different ways and in different places, right? And so I think the most important thing is, being able to laugh in the face of danger is really freaking powerful. Imagine that vibration. You're unstoppable at that point.
Yeah.
As long as you have a clean gut. Why that? Why a clean gut? Well, your gut has neuro tissue in it that's literally sensing the universe that gives you a gut intuition. So as much as you're transmitting a frequency is as much as we need to be aware of what's happening and like, I don't know, I got a bad feeling about this. Okay, well, where does it feel good? And also, bringing up the worst case scenario is actually really powerful, because if you can bring up the worst case scenario and have no fear, then you're not manifesting what the fear vibration is. Right? So what's going to happen? You never know what's going to happen. Right? We have a saying, and I've been trained in like a secret society type training for many years to like really get these concepts down like really good. We have a saying, when building your life, you go as far as you can see. When you get there, you'll see further. You can drive across Canada in the dark with your headlights, only being able to see 100 feet or 200 feet in front of you the whole time, and get to where you need to be. You don't have to see all of Canada all at once, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think those are really important concepts to think about, right?
Awesome, man. Well, I've got a lot to think about. And again, I really appreciate you coming on and for all your hard work, man. You take care, all right?
Hey, thanks, Mitch. It's been awesome. And talk to you soon, dude. Later. Hey, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I will continually go into depth in these concepts that I mentioned and even deeper, and a lot of other concepts that are required for all of this stuff to really work. So I'll see you in the next video.
Let the enemy get too friendly. Now we quarantine like Julian inside the embassy. Viruses filled in my environment. Communism coming, I ain't talking about the